Charlotte dreamt about her time in the Niels kingdom. She was cleaning the glass when two servants deliberately bumped into her. They also mocked Charlotte for being too foolish as a noble descendant. Natalia, Charlotte's stepsister, approached her and noticed Charlotte's scarred hands, offering her some ointment. Charlotte was deeply grateful. Natalia whispered to Charlotte, asking her for some time together to read a book. Unfortunately, Charlotte couldn't comply as she was busy with her servant duties. Understandingly, Natalia expressed her wish to grow closer to her stepsister. Charlotte woke up, finding Lu and Gosetsu still asleep beside her. She realized she was aboard a sailing ship. She recalled Aruka's words about something happening to her stepsister, Natalia. Meanwhile, Alan and Aruka were at the bow of the ship. Alan inquired about Natalia's condition. Natalia, Charlotte's stepsister, was 10 years younger and the legitimate heir of the Evans family. She was the only one supporting Charlotte in the Niels kingdom. Charlotte approached Alan and Aruka. She had slept soundly thanks to Alan's magic, but she still felt melancholic due to her dream about Natalia. Charlotte expressed her wish to hear about Natalia from Aruka. Lu and Gosetsu joined them, expressing their interest as well. Aruka was pleased to see Alan's new family, including the adorable Fenrir and capybara Hel. She intended to show them to her mother, a monster researcher. They were sailing towards the school Alan and Aruka once attended. It had been 3 years since Alan left the place. From a distance, the island appeared filled with various buildings. Charlotte inquired about a black structure on the island, which turned out to be a dormitory. She then asked about the location of the Athena Academy of Magic. The Athena Academy of Magic was situated on an island, with the entire island serving as the school's territory. Charlotte was astonished by the vastness of Alan's former school. Upon their arrival, they found that almost everyone on the island was affiliated with the academy, with a few tourists present as well. Charlotte questioned Natalia's whereabouts, as she should have been in the Niels kingdom. Aruka confirmed that Natalia was indeed alone on the island. Alan wanted to hear about Natalia's story, but Aruka suggested discussing it at home due to its length. Charlotte was taken aback, feeling nervous about meeting Alan's parents. She wanted to mentally prepare herself first. However, Alan was the one who should be more prepared. 3 years ago, Alan had quit school and run away from home after a severe argument with his father. Alan didn't want to discuss the dispute, feeling it was irrelevant. Yet, it was a widely discussed topic across the island, a powerful wizard duel that lasted 3 days and nights. The island still had remnants of the battle, becoming a sort of local attraction. Charlotte was eager to see it, but Alan discouraged her, questioning the purpose of visiting a destroyed place. They made their way to Alan and Aluka's parents' house. Gosetsu teased Alan, saying he was going to visit a family that wasn't on good terms just for the sake of the woman he loved. What a dramatic tale! Alan turned to him and snapped back. Although not close with his own family, Alan still had a decent relationship with his father. They frequently exchanged letters. Alan explained to Gosetsu and Lu that he was taken in by the Crawford family after his parents passed away. He is Aluka's stepbrother. Charlotte confessed feeling envious because she had never had a disagreement with her family. Alan comforted her, mentioning she would meet Natalia soon, suggesting it would be an opportunity for them to get close enough to argue. Charlotte was concerned about causing trouble for Natalia, especially now that she was a fugitive from the kingdom. Alan reassured her, believing the accusations were baseless and Natalia would understand. Alan declared he would support Charlotte wholeheartedly. Before he could finish, Lu and Gosetsu enthusiastically interrupted, pledging their unwavering support for Charlotte. Aluka and her family were also on her side. Overwhelmed with emotion, Charlotte tearfully thanked them. A crowd had gathered to witness a brawl between a young man and a sea monster. Such fights were commonplace on this island. As the altercation escalated, a wizard appeared, freezing both combatants. He was as formidable as Alan. Approaching them, he praised Aluka for bringing them there. The wizard greeted Charlotte, revealing he was acquainted with her. He was Harvey Crawford, Alan and Aluka's father. Charlotte was taken aback upon hearing this. They headed to Alan's parents' house. Harvey was thrilled to see Alan, who still referred to him as Uncle. He hadn't expected Alan to return with such a lovely girlfriend. Just as Alan was about to deny the term girlfriend, Aluka subtly nudged him, signaling him to stay quiet. It seemed Aluka had already briefed her father about their relationship. Catching on, Alan glanced at Charlotte, giving her a wink. Understanding his signal, Charlotte bravely stepped forward to introduce herself and admit to dating Alan. Harvey commended Charlotte for her courteous demeanor, asking if they were in love. Charlotte affirmed with grace, sharing how Alan had always cared for and looked after her, even teaching her some mischievous tricks. Alan tried to hush Charlotte, fearing Aluka might have exaggerated their relationship. Harvey smiled, hoping Alan and Charlotte would marry soon, as it would invigorate Alan. Both Alan and Charlotte blushed, hardly believing Harvey was thinking that far ahead for them. Harvey then brought up his proposal again. Alan firmly declined, emphasizing his current relationship and desire to stay in his own home. Lou and Gosetsu were puzzled by the conversation, wondering what they were discussing. Aluka explained that her father was the headmaster of Athena Magic Academy and intended to pass the mantle to Alan. Gosetsu pondered the significance of Alan inheriting such a historic institution, suggesting Alan's name would be etched in its history. Harvey believed only Alan could succeed him despite their lack of blood relation. Charlotte admired Harvey's magnanimous attitude. However, Alan felt the weight of the responsibility and wasn't ready for such a commitment. A beautiful woman approached them with drinks, her appearance so youthful that Charlotte mistook her for Alan's younger sister. Charlotte promptly greeted her, only for Alan to reveal she was his mother, referring to her as aunt. A fork curled towards Alan, embedding itself in the wall. Alan's mother questioned if he had forgotten his address, expressing a preference for mom over aunt. Charlotte was awestruck by Alan's youthful-looking mother. Introducing herself as Lizelot Crawford, Alan continued their earlier conversation, explaining that his father's intent to pass the academy to him was so he could spend more time with his wife. Harvey admitted to wanting to retire soon to be with Liz perpetually. He then teased Alan about possibly wanting a sibling. Their slightly risque banter, coupled with familial disputes, was commonplace there. Liz apologized to Charlotte for the commotion, but Charlotte admitted feeling envious of their closeness, as she never experienced such warmth with her own family. Liz already regarded Charlotte as her daughter and asked her to address her as mom. Alan quickly interjected, urging his mother not to continue with her jests. Alan inquired about the current situation with Natalia, Charlotte's younger sister. Harvey began explaining that Natalia was attending the Athena Magic Academy. It seemed that Evan's family was currently in disarray. Natalia sought refuge in a foreign study program until things settled down. She had been there for 3 months, but Harvey had only recently found out due to Natalia concealing her identity. Given the public knowledge of Charlotte fleeing abroad, it was only reasonable for her to hide her identity. When Alan's parents contacted him to come, it wasn't solely about Natalia's situation. There were numerous factional conflicts within the academy. Charlotte suspected Natalia might be involved in these disputes. Harvey invited them to see for themselves, using a magical device called the Mirror of Desires that could display scenes from distant locations. The mirror revealed Natalia surrounded by large monsters. Initially, Alan feared for Natalia's safety and rushed to her aid. However, it turned out Natalia was scolding the monsters for bringing her the wrong kind of bread, effectively making them her servants. Since enrolling at the academy, Natalia had shown the fastest progress in its history, even leading one of its top factions. The intimidating monsters cowered and apologized to her. Yet, Natalia displayed a kind side, generously compensating one of the monsters who worked part-time to send money back to its hometown. Touched, the monster shed tears of gratitude. It was Natalia's compassion that earned her respect among her peers. This behavior was starkly different from her time with Charlotte at home. She had never exhibited such traits then. The school had attempted to contact her family, but their situation was too chaotic. For a noble daughter to be sent to a remote island and neglected by her family, it was understandable she'd be so upset. Charlotte couldn't help but feel she might have been the cause of Natalia's transformation. As the headmaster, Harvey respected the students' freedom, but this situation had gone too far. He urged Alan to calm her down. Alan planned to speak with her first and wanted to introduce Charlotte to his sister while concealing her identity. However, Charlotte had to prepare herself, fearing she might get hurt upon meeting Natalia, leaving her conflicted. She never imagined her sister could change so drastically, especially after just reading her picture books. Natalia called out to Charlotte as her older sister, and that was the only fond memory she had from their home in the past. If she didn't muster the courage to meet her, she would surely regret it. Charlotte decided to meet Natalia. Alan, Lou, and Gosetsu were relieved to hear this decision. Both Lou and Gosetsu assured her of their constant support, for which Charlotte expressed her gratitude. Evening had set in, and Alan mentioned that he and Charlotte would look for accommodation. However, his mother insisted there was a spare room in her house and compelled them to stay. Given the circumstances, her house was the safest option. She hurriedly prepared the room for them. Alan had a sinking feeling about it, and true enough, the room prepared had only one bed. Liz assumed they were a couple and suggested they share the bed. She wanted to ensure that Alan and Charlotte's relationship wasn't just a pretense. Liz warned Alan about lying regarding his relationship with Charlotte. With that, she closed the door, leaving Alan and Charlotte to rest. Charlotte suggested they sleep immediately, especially since they would be preparing to meet Natalia the next day. Alan's cheeks flushed, swallowing hard at the thought of being invited by Charlotte to share a bed.